Namaste. Ananda and recharging the Kundalini energy. We have all heard of this word Ananda, and in the spiritual systems and practices, one of the highest states that one can experience is called Ananda, and to stay in Ananda for long periods of time. In fact, in India, many of our spiritual schools, they identify one's progress along the path of spirituality with the word Ananda. Vivek Ananda, very well known, and Sachidananda, Sarvananda, and so on. Many of the saints, many of the practitioners, and many of those who walk the path of spirituality, they've used the word Ananda. They've used the word Ananda in their names. Ananda is a state that is experienced only after a fair amount of sadhana, which also includes the Kundalini and semen retention or brahmacharya. When we speak of brahmacharya, basically, in my understanding, what it means is our consciousness moves away from the physical consciousness to a deeper level of awareness. When we move away from physical consciousness, naturally our dependence on sexual pleasure, food, and things like this reduces. When our dependence on these things reduces, whatever depletion was happening to our energy, to our Kundalini energy, because of overdoing these things, because of the excessive interest in the body, and so on, that depletion stops, and this energy is available to raise and then to experience Ananda without having to resort to any kind of physical stimulation, etc., etc. Naturally, it's a state that many aspire to and many work towards. One of the important things here, of course, is the Kundalini energy, which unfortunately in today's world and because of the environment and so on, it gets depleted very easily, very early in life. This Kundalini energy either needs to be recharged, and there aren't very many people who know how to do this recharging, and of course to access. When the Kundalini energy is depleted for any reason, naturally that means, in a sense, you can think of it as a tank or a petrol tank that has run out of fuel. In a car, in a vehicle, we can always top it up again. But what about in an individual? What about someone who's walking the path of spirituality and his Kundalini energy has depleted? What can he do? There are ways where one can recharge the Kundalini energy, but of course there has to be a fair amount of self-control required, which means one does not indulge in too much sexual activity, none if possible, but at least less than otherwise. Reduce the amount of leakage that happens because of sexual acts, etc. Conserve that energy, conserve the fluids, and recharge the Kundalini. There are breathwork techniques where you breathe in certain ways and it starts recharging your Kundalini energy. It starts becoming available to you in a bigger way than it has been available earlier. And if you're able to channel the energy up the spine, continue to channel the energy up the spine, it brings many benefits. Therefore, it is important that one is able to conserve the energy and use the energy for one's upliftment. It is through this that experience of Ananda, bliss, ecstasy, etc. will become much easier. Which means without having to do anything, just working with your breath, and sometimes breath and chanting will stimulate something or will cause something to happen in the body, which will make you feel that state of Ananda, that state of bliss, great joyfulness. And I wish you all good luck in your search for Ananda, bliss, ecstasy, but without having to deplete your Kundalini energy. Thank you. Namaste.